Okay, hello. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing today? Maybe Sinbad. You've been less harassy lately. You've been doing a good job of not being a menace. So maybe I'll think about it. But hello. How's everyone doing today? What does everyone got going on? Anyone got any crazy plans this weekend or anything all set up? I had a tab. I was about to post the stream link onto just posted on Twitter, but I accidentally lost the post that I was making. I don't really know. I might have to double check, but I will find something, I guess. Either way, hype for this next week. Always hype for new chapters coming up. Especially we've got a lot of just general hype and everything, getting set up. So we'll see how things are going. I know my biggest thing is obviously going to be a 100 Years Quest chapter in a few days, but Black Clover is looking pretty hype as well. I know that I haven't looked at anything for Jujutsu Kaisen, so I don't know anything about the upcoming chapter, so I'm really hyped about that. I have a new theory video that should be coming out, I think, in the next hour or so. It's just uploading. Well, let me get to some of the comments. Gene as first. You got the first in here. Hello, how's it going, Gene? Jared Punch, how are you doing? How are you doing today, Sinbad? Rao Ryu. Yeah, this is my normal stream time. My normal stream time are Saturdays, and then I just did that kind of random stream the other day just because I don't know, it was a lot was going on with Black Clover with the whole stuff about the anime, and then the new episode just came out on top of that. So thank you, Hassan Mahad, who says or Mohammed, who says that I am the GOAT. Dots versus Dante. Yeah, I've just been messing around more with Photoshop, trying to get a little better at editing images, but so I've been having fun with it. I feel like this one actually looks kind of good. I was messing with the shading. I think it looks a little bit better than my usual ones. LOL, come to our side, Sinbad. Sinbad's a dangerous guy, but at the same time, he always likes to make jokes, and sometimes it earns him a non-mod potential ship position. Yes, Dante Simp can't lose. Body magic can also regenerate. I mean, yeah, but what's that gonna do if you just get it burnt? That's just burning that shit out. It's getting turned into just ash. Doing well. Good. I'm glad everyone's doing well. I'll do a face reveal 4K. I don't know about that. I don't know if I ever did a face reveal, it would be way further down the line. Tabata troll me hard. Tabata this chapter, man. I can't wait to do a review tomorrow. W and Asta, maybe Black Clover 182 hype. There's a lot coming up. I'm really excited for these next couple chapters. There's just general amounts of hype behind it. I can't wait to see what Asta's union form looks like. Tabata's got to make it look cool. And the only thing we really have seen was that shoulder plate that he had when he he had that singular slash against Noct, but we didn't get a good a good angle on it. We only saw that. Oh, we saw that he had the the cross in his eye. I thought that was pretty cool too. So Asta's next form, I am really hyped to see. I'm curious to know if he's he's giving it armor. It looks to be armor with that shoulder pad. So is he going to give him eventually a helmet? That's one of the things I'm very curious about when it comes to Asta's eventual form. Ariel, he looks like Tabata's twin. Wait, what? Asta versus Meliodas. Honestly, I'm going to wait until Asta we see the union form before I want to comment on that. But I definitely want to talk about that after this. The union is so close, then it'll be much more fun to talk about when he's got the union coming up, because it's not like the union is something that just kind of popped up like Berserk Asta, and it was like, oh, well, maybe that'd be something he get later or whatever. But this is a power he currently has, but we just haven't seen it yet in full action, and that's what I'm hoping for. Obviously, this next 182, and I don't know why it wouldn't too. On top of that, what is it, guys? What is the guy with the scarf? Asta. I thought it was Natsu. That is Natsu. It's Photoshop. Dante's gravity magic. Xeno uses space magic. Voniki uses curses. Why don't Asta and Noct have two elements too? Well, Nox, we already know Asta. Asta doesn't have magic, but with Noct, there was something about his magic initially. We know that from what Jack said. But also, I think Nox is a different case just because of how he got his devils, I'm guessing, and like how his whole process. Maybe to get his the 4 devils, one of them took his original magic and then made it into shadow magic or something. Because he doesn't have an emblem on his grimoire as well. That's one of those things about him that is not talked about a lot, but we have taken note of it. It's not like something that just nobody has ever said anything about it. We know that it's there. We just have nothing for it beyond, you know, what we have, and what we have is nothing other than that it doesn't seem to be his original magic. Let me real quick post on Twitter the link for people. I had one like that I was making. I don't know what happened to it, but I'll just say time for it's normal Saturday stream. No, that's boring if I say normal. I'll just say time for a hype Saturday stream. I'll just say that. Oh, and then before that, I can get to the current agenda. Josuke, I think just hit. I think he's either just hit or he's about to hit 700 subscribers, and we're trying to get him to the 1,000 subscriber mark. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to Black Clover versus everybody on YouTube. He does very fun Black Clover streams, and he does it twice a week, Sundays and Thursdays, and he has a lot of different Black Clover YouTubers come on and talk about the new chapters and the spoiler leaks and stuff. So it's definitely fun. I would recommend it, and I think people would, anybody who comes to my streams probably gonna like his streams. So, and I don't know anybody that wouldn't now unless they don't like fun. I don't know, but either way, go check out his videos and his streams. And I'll be there tomorrow because there should be, obviously we'll have the officials. We'll talk about those and, whatever better corrected dialogue pieces we have for it. 1 second. I'm putting up the stream. Fortnite of the Apocalypse. I'm very curious to know what the plan is going to be with Percival's magic in that, because he hasn't shown anything specific. Like, it hasn't been stated what his magic does. It's just kind of been hinted a little bit. Let me get back to some of the comments. Would be ass. It would make him look ugly. It would really depend though on how it looks. Because you can just, if Asta just has some sick badass helmet and all detailed looking sick, like with really cool horns and whatever Tabata does, it could still work. It'd be a little odd on Asta, like if it doesn't look properly fit, but it could still give him something good. I'll leave Tabata on that. What's up, Eden's Brain? How's it going? Hey, Rax, how's it going? Irene in July. Hope everything is good. I'm in the lab doing some experiments, and I'll watch the stream once I get home. Oh, well, good luck at work, and good luck on a safe trip home. I hope that you're able to enjoy the stream, regardless of how long you're out doing stuff. I thought Asa's new form looked like that. Oh yeah, it's just Photoshop. I want all the swords to take one form, like become. This is like a Megazord of swords. I mean, that'd be kind of crazy, Gene. Meanwhile, Endeavor is going through hell. He's just having a bad day. I like how it's just like sad after school special hours with My Hero right now, and then like Black Clover is like big action hype, doing stuff with the devil, getting ready to have a big main character battle scene. Making a fan fiction where Gajio and Lizana are the main characters. Said that. Why Gajio and Lizana? Why Lizana over, like, wouldn't that be Levi at that point? Yeah, we're trying to get, what's Josuke at right now? Let me go to his channel real quick. Because last time I checked, he was at, like, 490 something. He's at 492, so if we can get him up 8 subs today, we'll get him to 700 there, Gene. That's the plan. Let's see. There's always a bunch of Black Clover YouTubers there. It's funny. Yeah, there's a lot of mid takes. Not mine though. My takes are good. My takes are solid. I'm putting out. Let me check the timer on it. It says hour 50 minutes, and then it's a video on Lucifaro and my theory on him. I think it's like, I don't think it's like dead on. Has to be factually like right what I thought of, but I think it has good a good chance, like, based on what we have now. But we'll see. What's up, Tusky X? How's it going today? How are you? Hope it doesn't look like Endeavor. Oh, Endeavor looks like a bitch. She's having a bad day. No, gonna be OP for her true Valkyrie power. She's gotta have something, because she is the only one out of the main three right now that doesn't have a way of damaging devils. Like, she's gonna hit him with water, because, you know, like, if the whole thing about, like, you know, this true magic that, like, Quan was talking about, and, like, reveal him actually to be arcane and stuff, but, like, if that's not the case, he still has the fact that his spirit swords can, like, his spirit weapons can damage devils. So, even if it came down to, like, would it kill them for sure, it would just, like, drastically damage them, like, it wouldn't matter, is in this argument, because, like, Noelle doesn't have anything at the current moment that would, you know, be a threat to a devil, or, like, do anything to him. She could probably still, like, provide support, but I don't really want it to come down to, like, her having nothing against devils when she's part of the main cast. So she's got to have something new and shiny, like, you know, in the wings. I'm kind of hoping her ultimate magic, maybe she can share her large quantity of magic. Like, what if she can buff other people just, like, fighting with her, and that's, like, what her thing will be. Like, maybe, and then, like, because that would have them all connected, and then if she could absorb magic from them to use, like, proper ultimate magic, like some massive-ass spell. Let's get Rax to 4,000. What am I at right now? I actually don't know what my current subscriber number is. Well, like 490 something maybe. No, I'm only at 3940. I thought I was like, oh, am I close? Oh no, like I'm not getting 60 subs today. That'd be too difficult. I usually get a couple a day, but like, you know, it's been a long time since I've had one of those just really heavy subscriber days, where, you know, you're just getting big, large numbers. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I don't know, slow growth is still growth. I don't mind my current channel size. But it is exciting when it's like every time you refresh it and it's like you get a big chunk more. However many, you get a more handful and it just goes on consistently. That is like a fun thing. I don't really mind. But, I don't know. I was like thinking, I'm like, oh, am I close? Like, no, I'm a good chunk off. You're crazy. We're not getting me 60 today. Let's see, the things the Fairy Tail Guild won't forgive, they forgave. Gajil, Laxus, Minerva, Jalal, except for, I mean, like, the difference is, like, they'll go to the, well, Jalal took a long time. But, like, Gajil, Laxus, and Minerva, they never actually killed anybody. Like, they were still, like, pretty bad, but they hadn't crossed, like, a really dangerous threshold. Whereas Jalal did, but Jalal had a long, like, even, like, the fact that, like, his started so early in the manga, you have to keep in mind the 7-year time skip he participated in. So, he was already going through a lot of stuff and, like, reflecting off of that since then. Like, his took a lot more longer in both the manga and in the timeline. So, you have to, like, be bad with, like, you know, no hope no kind of dedication to the road of redemption or anything, and, like, trying to better yourself. You're just an outright bad guy, and obviously, like, if you killed somebody in their guild or something. Subrax, everything is happening. How do you think Noelle and Yuno are going to contend with Future Devils? I mean, Yuno is fine. It's Noelle that's the question. Why Ray talked to Endeavor was pissing me off. I mean, they're all kind of, like, both of them are pretty shitty. Like, Endeavor's a bad guy. I mean, like, she was pretty bad for, you know, burning up her son's face with a tea kettle. It's an unfortunate situation all around. Black Clover just needs to do something that'll give Jujutsu Kaisen amounts of hype. I mean, like, the manga already gives Jujutsu Kaisen amounts of hype. If you were talking about, like, the anime did that, I think, last week. I mean, the anime was super hype in just showing Asta, like, start going insane and berserk against Dante. I thought that was good. Like, the reason Jujutsu Kaisen is super hyped is because it was new, that started out with really good animation and consistently is really good animation. That's one of the reasons why people always say, like, imagine if Black Clover's anime was seasonal. Like, we wouldn't have had those periods where people, like, made jokes at, like, bad animation and art. But it's just because, like, those guys, you know, they had way less time to make episodes and probably less people involved as well. There's a Digimon called Sistermon. I don't think I've ever seen that. Is that like a version of, like, a lower version of, I actually know if it's Sistermon, it would have to be like some version of Anju Woman, I would assume. But acting like you'd be able to eat their chronophages? I believe so. Because on top of that, you shouldn't be affected by it.
Actinologia should be able to, like, legitimately eat one of the chronophages if it came down to it. Like, him and Zeref would be fine. Probably, or like, not probably. Damari would absolutely be fine. Not to find anybody who just can contend with time-based powers like that. Like, we know Natsu is immune to time stop and time-based abilities to like a high degree. Chronophage is a little different because it's not like the chronophage is reversing time and in the same concept. It's like absorbing time off the planet. So you would have to be, it's kind of like how Julius can take time when he's like using his magic. It's not the exact kind of same concept, but you're like, if you consider time to be a certain number, he's absorbing that number. But if somebody can't do that to you, can't take that time off of you, then I would assume that you're immune to it. Like, if the chronophage came to, like, the fairy tale world, I don't think it would affect Natsu. I really don't. Because the only time we've seen anything that, like, work in that manner before anyone says, like, the law of retrogression, you know, I can't remember what the exact translation is for Dorian's magic. His is completely different, because his isn't time-based. It's like a power and body reduction-based ability. He's not actually, like, reversing time. Let's see. He seems to forgive anyone who generally about turning the leaf. Yeah, there's Natsu's thing is he will kill outright bad people, but Mercephobia wanted to redeem himself and wanted to become a better person. That's why he didn't want to fight him. He didn't want to have to potentially kill him. Whereas Alderaan didn't care about any of that. Like, he just viewed humans as food. There was no chance in his mind that, like, he was going to become a better person. But, like, the guild itself, it really depends. Like, Jalal, if it was, like, Jalal, like, 5 minutes after the Tower of Heaven, or even the same time span of when, like, Gajiel joining the guild, that I don't think that would work. Like, before they even start to be kind of okay with Jalal, it's been years. And, like, a redemption, like, event in the Horacion Sace are clad onto that large gap of time. Resident Crunchyroll posted the Dante versus Sasta fight or promotion. The Black Clover, the Crunchyroll guys, I swear, like, a lot of people believe that they are against Black Clover. I think so too. It's really weird because there's no reason to do it, and it's really, like, it makes Crunchyroll, like, it's one of their most viewed shows, so I don't get the idea of wanting to, like, hold down something that's already very popular. And it's like, if you promote it more, it would make you more popular, which would get you more people checking it out and continuously increase, like, viewership and stuff. And it's not even like that's a bad thing for them. You might get more people or just more activity on their website. I don't know, because it's one of the theories that, like, somebody told me that in, like, a Discord or something, they actually had one of the, or at least, I don't know if it was one or multiple of, like, people that worked in the whole Crunchyroll, like, setup for their website and whatnot, and I guess they didn't like Black Clover. I don't know if that's true or not, but legitimately it would explain a lot of things. Like, whenever they have a Crunchyroll award show, Black Clover is not even mentioned. Like, the only time Black Clover has been in one, I believe, was Yami versus Petra during Black Clover's first year. Hope they don't change studios. We already have a dedicated team of animators. I hope so too. I hope they don't change. If they're not going to go seasonal, I think they're just going to give it a break, and then, like, let the anime sit instead of, like, doing a bunch of like, anime exclusive content. Because, like, it's different, and if you get it in clips, like, if you see, like, an extra minute or so scene in Gray's backstory, or maybe, like, we see an extra scene or two of Charlotte, you know, post Xenon and Yami Ivanica attacks, everything going into the next part. I don't know if there's any anime only, so I didn't want to say anything specific. But if it's, like, showing stuff like that, just, like, slightly extending them, is way different than just having massive chunks of an anime exclusive constantly and just trying to draw out areas in certain areas in the manga or in the anime more than the manga, just to build time. Like, it can work really well, but it can also feel very like, very dampening to, like, the story as well. Do you think that clean stuff is done or be touched up again? I think it's gonna happen again, but she's gonna, like, have enough character development that it's not going to bother her as much and she can overcome it. That's my guess. It'd be really unfair if it's just, like, straight erases it and then it's, like, gone forever. She's fixed. Like, that part of her character is no longer you know, an aspect to it, because then wouldn't that mean she doesn't remember how her brother got those limbs? But if she remembers it again, I would imagine it would still do something to her head. If it's moving, wait, if it is moving, but not, but it wouldn't hurt him. What do you mean? You're talking about the chronophage? Hopefully they don't change. Oh, I already read this one. Noel got to use Bruce this arc. I'm very curious if the Bruce thing will ever be relevant again. That's one of my bigger things about that. It's not like, oh, we need more Bruce lore. It's like, is Tabata serious about Bruce being fully gone? Or is it just, like, not important, and maybe we'll get something further if we find out more about spirits or something. Maybe we'll get, like, a spirit arc in the anime or a spirits movie, I don't know. Which, why is Natsu bullying Dante? He's been punished enough. I just thought it was a really well-placed angle, and the color, I think the color looks good. I think it actually fits a little bit. Where's the previous water spirit? Are you stuck in there? Oh, so originally it was the 4 great spirits, and then that should mean that there are just other spirits. They're just lesser spirits. Like, there could be multiple water spirits, but only one great water spirit, or multiple fire, and then only one great fire spirit. Or maybe even spirits of different elements. That, you know, if, like, what if there was a great dark spirit, or a great light spirit, or something? And not to burn through gravity, he doesn't need to. He just walks through it. When Natsu was against Blue Note in Sirius Island, it still was heavy to him. Like, at first, like, it would just crush him to the ground, like, you know, you'd see gravity manipulation. It took him a while, but, like, of just, like, pressing up against it, but he was able to get back on his feet, run, and jump, while, like, trying to get Blue Note. So he's physically strong enough at that point to do it. It was just something that took him a moment to, like, kind of get used to. Whereas Natsu in Alvarez, you had Blue Note's gravity. Natsu just walks under it. He doesn't even notice it. He's so much stronger, he doesn't even notice this dude's, like, pressing on him with gravity. So keep that in mind, really, when you just think about the idea of Natsu versus Dante. And on top of that, you can either go with the manga scene or the anime additional scene. Because in the fight with Blue Note, they add in the anime him using his black hole, and Natsu's fire just burns it instantly. And Mishima oversaw the anime, and he, like, was adding certain things into it, and, like, tweaking, not really tweaking, like, pretty much just adding, like, a little bit extra parts, and obviously, like, Akanologia's backstory and stuff. But he did add, like, it is grounds to say that he could do that, because it's kind of like how, in the anime, when Natsu went up against Zero, using Genesis Zero, Natsu got sucked in the anime, whereas the manga, he never got trapped in the alternate dimension. But in the anime, he did broke out. But, so you could still say that, oh, well, the manga has the canon over it, because, the manga is the manga. But the anime later shows Midnight do the same thing, the Starry Sky arc, which is canon, and Natsu breaks out again. But except this time he didn't need Dragon Force, which shows that it's consistent with what Mishima had planned, so it's likely that Mishima had that put in there. But even if you didn't want to count Natsu burning the black hole in the anime, he should be able to, because a way weaker Guildarts, who was also recovering from his injuries from Akanologia, was able to break the black hole that the Blue Note put out there. So Natsu should be able to do that, because if you have two people that both can deal with magic, Natsu burning it, Guildarts breaking it, that Natsu was way more powerful than that version of Guildarts. So Natsu should be effectively, like, logically able to, like, burn the black hole. So it's like Singularity, yeah, gets burnt. He's walking under it. He can break the crystal or condensed rock swords. Like, in the movie, another also canon, in Dragon Cry, he had a, like, probably like a little bigger than a full carrot size of Stellanium. Or actually probably more like a bigger potato, which Stellanium in the series is a mineral that absorbs, like, star and moonlight, and it's, like, stored energy. And it, like, the mineral itself is harder than diamond. And Natsu, without even using, like, a fire to enhance his strength, just shattered it. So if Natsu's physically strong enough to go through it, he's physically strong enough to walk through the gravity, he's able to burn Dante's spells, and he's able to burn, like, he can burn Dante's body magic, so Dante will just go, burn himself out. And that's stuff that Natsu could do in base. This is a much stronger Natsu. And this isn't even peak Natsu right here. Correction, Black Clover is the most viewed show. Is it their most viewed of, like, total right now? Because it wouldn't surprise me, but I figured it'd be like, there's a couple other contenders, whatever the big hype thing is. But it doesn't surprise me that much if the Black Clover is their kind of, like, most consistent viewer at the top for a while. Crunchyroll pulls it sometimes. Yeah, Crunchyroll is pretty annoying about it. It's very obvious that there's something going on. If Black Clover, even in like all the years where it's got like all these really great like the openings, fight scenes, like the Captain's episode didn't even make the the votes. Like it didn't even get a spot. Like it's not even that like, oh well, Black Clover doesn't win any of them. They don't even make it onto the nominees, and that's the part that really is weird. Let's see. I know it's a bad theory, but I don't know. I want to get a spirit. I mean, you could just get other spirits. I feel like there's more spirits. Black Clover's dropping sales is pretty sad. Maybe there's a reason Crunchyroll are acting so strange. No, they've always been like that. But Black Clover, I think Black Clover's sales are going to go up a chunk after these episodes leading out of this arc. Because I think they're going to go nuts on Dante versus Asta and Yami. I think they're going to go insane on that. Imagine if someone had enough mana magic power to create a spirit like being out of their own use. Spirit magic, if there was somebody that just had raw spirit magic, that'd be really cool. Black Clover isn't mentioned this year. That's factual. Crunchyroll dislikes Black Clover. I mean, they do. And now Sony controls most anime. Yeah, everything is just becoming one like big overarched kind of monopoly of like hold on the pretty much everything that we get over in the West and probably everything outside of Japan. What do you think the big announcement will be this seasonal? I think the big announcement at the end is just going to be like them saying like Black Clover will be back. Like it's just like we're pretty much just going on break. Don't worry, it's not over. But saying that it's ending on episode 170 without saying it's going to be back builds obviously a lot of free kind of just a lot of free press about it. Like, people are going to talk about it. Look at all the different people making videos and articles. Black Clover canceled, question mark? Can the Eden Zero crew adopt the small girl place? It's got to be them or the Skull Fairy. I wonder what's going to happen with that little girl. I never liked Crunchyroll because I watch anime illegally because I'm 15 and broke. Oh, well, that's okay, Gene. You'll get there. You'll understand eventually what it's like when you get to, like, you know, spend your money to get, like, official stuff and get all the fancier, like better streaming ones and eventually get your own manga volumes and stuff. It's a nicer feeling. I think Urza is going to show up next chapter. Yes, I think it's going to be her versus Natsu, like, or Yokai Urza versus Natsu. Lord Hendrickson, no, is because children are using. What are you talking about? What do you think they're going to do with this little girl? She's got to either join the Eden Zero or with Elsie's crew. Oh my god, we need more spirits. I agree, I want more spirits. I want, like, different kind of spirits. Or at least, maybe, like, different creatures that align with different... Maybe, like, maybe the 4 great spirits only go with those 4 elements. But what if you had, like, something that was, like, a creature that Yami could have that could work with, like, his dark magic somehow? Like, just enhance off of that. I don't know. Rack's talking about Dante versus Gravity. We haven't seen Dante fight seriously. What is Dante going to do? And we have seen him fight seriously. We just haven't seen 100%. But I mean, like, what is 100% really going to do differently than what Natsu hasn't already dealt with? Final season is canon. Yeah, it's something you can kind of... I was just making a point for both sides. Like, even if you didn't want to count the animated added scenes, you could look at what Ski would scale off of just from, like, what Guild Arts has done. Sheen is just a young lad. Don't be mean to him there. Then we're going to have 2 arcs where Shiki didn't beat anyone significant. He beat Orc, but that happened towards the middle and not the end. It was more wise the last fight of the US arc. Are you talking about... Oh, you mean just like the last battle? Because it's different in this arc versus, like, say... the Bellio Goer, because there is no real final boss, like, power level wise in this one. So it's more of just that Muller is the last opponent in this arc. Because, I mean, you put Shiki in front of Muller and he's demolishing him in like 5 seconds. The anime made the manga feat look way more impressive, to be honest, not to breaking out Zero's dimension. I mean, yeah, I know. It was way more hype too, just the way that they had him bust out of another dimension. Man, 2005, Gene, that's so weird to think about. What was I doing in 2005? Oh, shit. I was like, what, like 10? Man. I don't know, I was honestly probably collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. probably. I don't know what pack came out that year. I think that's around the GX era. Anyway, let me get some of these comments. I'm just trying to, I don't want to get lost in thought on that. I'm keeping somewhat close up. Austin doesn't need his wings to fly. He can just skate on his sword. I mean, yeah, we already know that. He's got, the thing is, like, with his weird, when he's in his his devil form, demon form, you know, his devil power form, black form, whatever you want to go, his flight is weird because it's in the same manner as, like, his swords. How it's like seeking out magic, as if Dante fighting seriously would make a difference against Nazi. Yeah, it wouldn't be. He would demolish it. How much would you guys say Gildarts progresses throughout Fairy Tail? Also, the problem is we don't see Gildarts. We don't really see Gildarts the full extent of him prior to the Alvarez arc, where he clearly gets more powerful, because you see him in Gray's backstory, like pre-Acnologia attack. He's got both his arms, and we only see like him pretty casual. Like, we don't see him go all out like something like his fight with Blue Note. But with Blue Note, Gildarts was hindered still, recovering from the wounds he got from Acnologia. So it's hard to say like how far he got, but as far as we know, obviously, like, him injured in Sirius Island, who was definitely stronger than Blue Note, but around his level, whereas Natsu at the start of Alvarez could just walk through Blue Note. So he has to be way more powerful, just in the gradual, like, amount that is to going to August. Like, just contending with August at all. I mean, it's true, Sinbad, what do you mean? Like, what can Dante do to Natsu? Like, nothing. Especially this version of him. Not even just talking about base Natsu. I mean, just the Ethereus Natsu during the Alvarez arc. He got stronger. I mean, like, that's really the closest thing you can use when you get down to it. Not to break price. I mean, he's not fodder to Ethereus Natsu. Like, I don't think he would go down as quickly as God Soul Demaria. But I don't think it would be that much of an issue for him. And especially when you're talking about this one. If you're talking about current Natsu, Dante is fodder to him. But I was using this version of him. Because, like, current Natsu, if he really comes down to it, Dragon Force, he one-shots. There's no resistance. It's punch going through Dante's face. Whoever, who here watches anime illegally? I think the only thing I've used on like any sites in a while was like an old episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and I wanted it subbed. And I can't remember why I went to... I think Crunchyroll was having problems. I actually don't know if they have the sub version of GX on there. I'd have to look. The Up-Used to Watch Anime legally actually has better quality and more options. Crunchyroll has some odd choices sometimes, because they don't update... It doesn't look like they update a lot of their stuff. Because I know that, like, a lot of their early Fairy Tail episodes aren't from the Blu-ray... Like, I keep saying, like... aren't from the Blu-ray releases, and they're not in like as HD, and they have that really old colored subbing. And a lot of it's super outdated in the translations too. Like, they came out probably the first day that the episodes came out, and you know, they were just doing it themselves, probably like before they got licensed with like a bigger company. I don't know exactly is up with that, but still. Hope Sister Ivory heals Queen Homora's back. She'll be okay. Oh, she's supposed to be tired from carrying the show. Yeah, she definitely isn't carrying. Wise, I like Shiki a lot too, and like Wise, like those are definitely my favorite three of the main characters in terms of like their amount. Jin's is different because like Jin's, we haven't seen him do a whole lot since he joined the crew, and we did get some really nice character stuff from this arc. But I really want to see like an all-out Jin fight where we just see him on their side, like putting in the work to beat whatever bad guy he's up against. But for right now, I'll definitely say, like, Wise, Shiki, and Homura. I mean, Wise has a freaking power suit. Like, he's cool. I'm not that old. Do you think Ferris will join Fairy Tail? I don't think by the end of it. I mean, she's technically already part of the guild, but by the end of it, I would assume, unless Celine destroys Elantir, then I assume Ferris will go back to, you know, the White Doctrine and do her job with the whole Whiteout Church. Is the small girl Xiao Mei from another timeline? I don't really know what Xiao Mei is. She's really weird. Like, I'm curious to know what her backstory is. Or if she is some, like, cosmic entity that just kind of formed one day. Let me get some more. I'm not that far off caught up, which is good. let's get into this war, or the characters will win, come back as a cost, or either you got... If Yami dies, Yami dying, I'm very on the fence about it. I'm perfectly fine, if they kill off, William, but Yami, I'm very on the fence about. Oh, I got a super chat from AnimeFan99 with the $4.99. I'm trying to pounds. I'm pretty sure it's right. Oh, it even says yes, it is British pounds. They remembered that I would probably forget, but I just by the skin of my teeth was able to remember. So let me get this. Hi Rax, so glad I caught your stream again. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Might roll out some bread though and make some bread. But other than that, probably after this stream, I'm gonna go to RTL Faith stream, and then after that, I'm gonna do some chores. Probably just go and like pick up some laundry and maybe vacuum some areas. But hope this donation helps out a little bit. Oh, of course. And I have said, one thing I wanted to mention as well.
Oh shit!
Oh, gotta wait for the
busted a nut.
audio to finish playing. There we go. One thing I want to mention. So I was really surprised. Hang on, let me mark where I was so I don't forget. Okay. So, oh no, I'm 26 now, Gene, but I'm close. But anyway, so I was very surprised at the amount of people that wanted me to start a Patreon. My plans are that what I'm gonna do, like, I'm just gonna do three tiers. It's gonna be like $1, which is just gonna be like watching episodes of whatever going anime is happening, like whatever the big hype thing is, or seasonal thing, or just something that I want to catch up on. But I might save the catch-up ones on, because I want... The last one is going to be for, like, binging and movies. And then the third category will be, like, maybe, like, darker and more graphic series. Like, I wanted to watch that Redo the Healer series. Is that, people seem to, like, enjoy the reactions of people doing it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the setup kind of like my chapter reviews. And I'm gonna have like a bit of a smaller screen, and I'll have the volume turned down, and it'll be just me, kind of like me talking as I'm watching it. So like if you wanted to put up the show on a different screen, it'd be like you're watching it while hearing at this like linked time of my commentary as it's going. I don't know if people would like that. That's gonna be really cheap. I'm not doing anything crazy, because I know similar to like streaming services, Patreon backing can stack up. And I don't want it to be anything. I don't want to take anything off of my channel and put it behind a paywall. It's all going to be extra stuff that it's like, oh, I wonder what his opinion, like that again, that Redo the Healer show. I wonder what his opinion on whatever episodes are. And then if you wanted to check it out and support the channel, much appreciated. But yes, thank you for the £4.99. Always appreciated. Appreciate all donations. Let me get back to some of the comments. About the other members of the Eden's crew, we're getting the last fight of the arc, not just Shiki. It's been pretty nice. It's always been a thing with Mishima that I've always really liked, that he doesn't let his characters kind of fade out into irrelevancy. Like when you get to other series, when they climb up, the power scale ladder and certain aspects as the story progresses, that some of the characters will just become irrelevant. Obviously, for instance, the Z Fighters. Most of the Z Fighters don't really matter anymore. The closest thing is like no, actually I don't want to spoil any for Rave Master. I don't want to go over Calx right now either. My guy beats Dante in 8 gates. He doesn't have a way to kill him though. He can like bend space, but what's that gonna do? Dante just outlasts him. Dante's just gonna outlast him. It's gonna be fine. If Dante was entirely vaporized, it'd be headcanon and can regenerate. Yeah, there's nothing to say that. So there's nothing to say that Dante couldn't regenerate, but on top of that, say Yami did a bull thrust big enough that it completely instead of that circle that was taken out of his chest, it was the whole body, and he regenerated. You could maybe say something like that as like his magic that's able to do it. We don't have any proof of that, but even if you had that argument, Natsu can burn magic, so he's just gonna burn the magic out of him, and then he's not gonna be able to heal himself back up. If you want an anime app better than Crunchyroll, download Katsu on iOS and Android. I can't be giving away free advertisement. Opinions on the latest season of Ruby. I haven't watched it yet. I'll watch it at some point. Ruby has just like really killed off my interest for the series after the last couple volumes, and I don't have as much of a fun time watching it anymore because they keep having stupid stuff happen, and I haven't looked into it yet. But I guess there's information on like people that used to work there on what it was like after Monty died, and I want to get to that at some point, because from what I understand, like the people that ran the people that originally kind of in charge, being Monty as the centerpiece, like just completely gave up on a lot of things and went more for money and like fandoms and weird stuff instead of the heart of the show, because it would explain a lot of odd decisions and things that don't make sense and a lot of the plot holes that they have. He goes, it's crazy, but we don't really know. We don't really see him at full power pre-time skip. It's just, I mean, I don't really know what we're going for him. The first thing that we know is obviously he can just body Wizard Saint level people. So he even pre Alvarez should be standing in Spriggan kind of like territory, because we know that Hades was able to no diff Makarov in like him. He did it in base, so he should be somewhere around the Spriggan category. The difference is they would be kind of like way lower, like someone like Nineheart, but still within sight of that. But he was way weakened from, recovering from acnologia. So it's a little hard to gauge where he was. And then when we saw him before getting hurt, he was way more casual. Okay, scroll down. Final Fantasy Tactics is an underrated masterpiece. I haven't played... Actually, no. I think I have played that game. I'd have to look it up. Rex, you need to read Final Fantasy Lost Stranger, First Darkest Dragon. I'll check it out at some point. Yeah, I suppose not a big baddie. Not a fan of Big Baddie Ironwood. It was weird that they turned on him. Like, he was... Well, no matter what, when you look at it, he was right. And the anime fans, a very appreciated donation. Again, always appreciate every donation that comes my way. It's not required. It's just tips. That's pretty much just how I see it. Because I don't do the streams expecting to get super chats, but it's always nice to get one. You know what I mean? Even if it's like $1, or you go crazy and you throw something wild that completely throws me off every single time. Let's see, UK in the house. Yeah, we got. Actually, I'd have to look again at what my my analytics country-wise, because I think I have a good amount of people coming from over in European areas. Canadian money is low-key elite. I actually always wondered, because I think they're just Canadian dollars, right? I don't think there's any different name to them. I have no idea. Because I'm sure I've heard it before like a million times. So like it's off the top of my head. No, yeah, they do. They say dollars Canadian. What am I talking about? It's very basic. Which is just slight different. I always wonder why the Canadians didn't have their own name for their money. I should get like a couple Canadian dollars. I actually don't know what the physical pieces of paper look like. Might as well use maple tree leaves as currency. No. Pretty funny though. Rex, you're gonna do the Patreon. We need a hair reveal at the very least. I don't know about that one. What about plastic? Yes, redo the healer. Yeah, I'm gonna. So the way that I'm planning on partly doing it is like I'm gonna record a bunch of stuff, like a lot of the smaller ones, in mass. So it's like, oh, I'll watch one episode of something, record it, and then it won't just be like, hey, I have to watch one episode today. It'd be like I record a bunch all together, so I don't get behind. Because one thing I have noticed that is the biggest annoyance for people in the Patreon is like on both sides, because like somebody misses something, their fans get pissed off, and then they get all mad because they're getting bothered, but the fans are mad because they're not delivering on the times they give, and it seems like such an easy solution. Just watch some of it in advance, because at the end of the day, they want to just make sure they're not getting their money cheated out by whatever they're paying for, because it's not like the same as like a YouTube channel where you can watch it and it's free. It's like they're paying for you to do this, so you are obligated to either fulfill what you put in there or update them on like any complications. You know what I mean? Wait, what? Can American wash their money? Yeah, you can wash money, but it might get ripped. The mods also interact a lot. Oh, Gene's just doing his thing, hanging out. Z Fighters and Konohar are useless. Yeah, I don't really like it when the other characters like become relevant. That's one of the things that I was actually really happy about in the Alderaan arc, is when Wendy buffed up like a lot of the lower members of Fairy Tail, just because it gave them a good logical chance to be helpful, and I like that a lot. And it really showed like a good piece of like the heart of the guild and how they operate. You know what I mean? Doing that is not vaporization. No, it's sheer raw force. Rax, hope you're doing well. Can't wait for the main Celine battle. That dude,
They have to, I saw some of the people mad at my comments on that video. They have to destroy the moon. Like, regardless of how they do it, it has to be done, because Selene can just point at it and teleport them all away. And what happens if she just drops them in like, Edelus or something? They don't have magic. Or she just drops them into whatever weird dimensions that we haven't seen yet. Who knows what she can do? Like, Selene, they have to take the moon out if they're going to prevent Selene from just porting them everywhere. Or they're tyrannical dictators who rule over the Commonwealth with an iron fist. You're going to rise up, you have to take down Jean first. Careful, Dean is crazy. Rex, how do you feel about seeing Niebuhr and Salt alongside Kaiser's chapter? I liked it. My biggest thing going into this chapter from last week is I did not want it just to be Asta showing up and doing everything. And then I didn't want it to also just be the Black Bulls if it was the Black Bulls. I wanted it to be everybody there puts in the effort. Because I didn't want any of them to at least not try, and they just all stand there and it seems like they're just waiting for like more like bigger characters to act. It's like, no, everybody should be up ready to try and defend the kingdom. They it's their job. I was very happy to see that was going on this chapter. Very happy to see characters that, even though they couldn't do anything that effective, they're doing everything that they possibly could. And it would have really annoyed me if it was just nobody that wasn't like a big main cast member, showed up. Like if it was just the Black Bulls. Nash, Natsu can crush Stellanium, yet isn't strong enough to snap the small rope time to Selene's castle. I mean, Selene just had them all, like, freaking dealt with, but also, you have Selene in front of you. We also don't know if there's anything special about that, about the rope. Because you have to keep in mind like, this is Selene, and they're surrounded. Like, Selene is a dangerous person for them to deal with in general. There's nothing about her that says, like, you could just kind of, like, jump on her and then, like, tie her, like, pretty much do the same thing, get the jump on her and then tie her up. Like, I was gonna say it, like, as, like, a more of, you're just, like, speaking in general, but it's like, well, we're talking about them being tied up, so I should probably say it, like, more direct. Like, they're not gonna be able just to handle it if they just even broke out. Like, Selene is dangerous. Was there anything actually about their having magic kind of dealt with? Because I don't think it was ever stated, but I mean, like, I'd wonder about it given Selene and Hakune being there. Let's see. Do you hear the hit piece that hit piece on Monty a while back by one of the ex-Corys? What did they say? What did they possibly say on Monty? Like, everything I ever heard about Monty was really nice. Hades not spring level at all, Roxy. Like, no, dude, he is way above that. Like, base him drop. Well, I'd say Mard Gear is also, like, within the range of Spriggan level, based off of his Celestial Spirit King feats and his Memento Mori. I just don't think that they can overall contend in the same manner as them. Like, Hades has to have his heart up to do it. You have to keep that in mind, because Hades also has Repent. He has Death Magic. And Mard Gear, I think that just in general, Mard Gear should have been saved and brought into the Spriggan 12, whereas, it made sense for Zeref just to kind of put him out of his misery. I do think that they are within the range of at least lower Spriggan, like near the bar, just based off their feats and how hacks they both are. I'm not saying that's like either of them can really contend. Like, if you put them against someone like, if you put Hades against any of them, that all they have to do is do something to destroy the boat, and then take out the heart. Hades is stronger than any of the Demon Gates. Yeah, he's around level with Mard Gear. The difference between Mard Gear and Hades, though, is Mard Gear is just his own power, where Hades is modified power through the heart. If you put Mard Gear versus Hades, Hades would lose to Mard Gear. Just because, like I said, take out the heart, Hades is done. And on top of that, Mard Gear's hacks is way faster. Like, Repent was taking a good minute or so to just generally go off. But that doesn't really matter if Memento Mori can paralyze you and then go off at a faster rate on top of that. Ruby Nang's actions now help the situation. No, they were like almost everybody in the main cast, I think, was problematic. Weiss didn't bother them that much, but like what she was doing with like turning on her dad, even though her dad was a jerk, what he was doing was for the good of everybody, because it would have got his company back, like
up and going, and then everybody that is either employed by him or requires his services in order to keep their daily lives going, they would be back to normal. Where it's like, what was their problem or what was their solution to fix these issues? Because they couldn't just keep their store. One of the things that bothered me is he couldn't just keep his stores open, so he had to close them, so people couldn't, use them to get whatever dust products they need, and that, pissed people off. It's like, yeah, but that's part of the problem. He can't be forced to keep his stores open if it's bad for him and it's gonna hurt his business further than what it's already at. That would make more sense for him to close down. That would be like saying he's gonna destroy himself just to get people their product. But the embargo was dumb in the first place.
Let's see, Devils. With the Devils are at least base Hades that passed by multiple demon gates.
Base Hades grabbed Titan Makarov and threw him to the ground. What do you mean? And he was dropping Amaterasu hundreds like it was nothing. Like, just that alone, that physical strength and that easily spammable big of an attack, like, definitely above any of the 9. The only one of Tartarus that is for sure above him is Margear. And I would only say Margear, though, because Margear has similar physical feat strengths, as well as Margear, as Hax is faster, and he's got more to work with. And he can absorb energy. Base Natsu, second origin, is stronger than Tenero, latent Flame Bright Natsu. The one that fought against Hades? No. I don't think that at all. I think it was more rounded. The difference between Natsu that we saw in the Grand Magic Games and Natsu that went up against Hades is the one that went up against Hades used all of his magic that was from Laxus. Keep that in mind. That wasn't a Natsu supply of magic. That was a Laxus supply of magic. And he was rushing through that massively. He did it all in a couple of attacks, and then primarily in his roar. Whereas the Natsu against Hades, the Natsu against Future Rogue and stuff, and what we saw in the Grand Magic Games, spread his magic out way more intelligently and way more for a longer fight rather than just all out everything from the jump. Hades should be comparable to Margear, but Margear just outclasses him in the long run, and Hades' big stuff is modified with his heart. Like, he needs to have his heart. Margear doesn't have that problem. You take out Hades' heart, he drops drastically. Obviously we've seen that. Irax, how are you doing? I'm good, Dravenov. How are you doing today? Please tell me which members of Natsu's team would make good parents. I mean, all of them I think would be pretty fine. Juvia is not that dumb. I think Juvia will do a fine job. Happy is also a little kid, or think about it. He's only 8 years old. Natsu's gonna be one of those ones that has natural, just good instincts. He's a good dude. He's not gonna be a bad person. He's not gonna be like Mary Leone. Hey, I'm gonna throw you in a ditch, like she was gonna do to Leo. Am I watching Jobless Reincarnation? No, but I'll put that on my Patreon if you want. I'll look at it. Juvia isn't that dumb. Come on, what's this Juvia hate? Juvia's gonna do a good job. Anyone here watch Super Eye Patch Wolf's current state of Shonen Jump? I haven't watched it. Does he say anything nice about Build King? Juan's theory, his magic makes a lot of sense. I think so too. Invul versus Asta? I mean, Invul could just freeze Asta solid. Yeah, I'd go with Invul too. His just hacks, and Invul can take away his ability to think. Let's see, Celine's power I think is still a mystery aside. There's definitely aspects to Celine we don't know at all. Because one thing about Celine that I think it makes sense is that Ferris was able to mind control people, but it seemed to be through Celine, because Celine did something and then all the control that Ferris had went away and she couldn't do it anymore. Whereas it seems to be what she's doing against the Fairy Tail main cast female members in Happy. Asta's been tried to marry Sister Lily his whole life. He's gonna get there eventually. Wait, what? Asta doesn't have a heart, so Info would lose? What do you mean? Asta does have a heart. That's one of the biggest things about Asta. But that wouldn't even matter. He could just put the one lock on him that he put on Mavis, and it would just freeze his mind. Yeah, I don't really know what the heart thing has to do with it. Invol's pretty cool. I really wish we would get more backstory from him. Oh, Wall is the robot guy, yeah. Let me see. I'm just scrolling down. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Lucy was selfish. She ran away from an arranged wedding. What do you mean? That was definitely not selfish. I don't know where that's coming from. Lucy wasn't gonna live that life. That wasn't fair to her at all. I'm impressed that Jump Force is still being talked about. I want to play Jump Force again at some point. I actually kind of like Jump Force. One minute state of all the demons in Tartarus inspired equal the wall. So he's got the curses, but that doesn't mean like he is all their power, like their total curse power combined. He just has all of their curses, but we don't know if he has Memento Mori. That's the big thing for Mardgear. Because Mardgear said he invented that one himself. What's the deal, Gene? What do you got going on? What is with all these deleted messages? I do think August can beat Irene. Natsu's top power-up is the one that he used... are you talking about right now? Because the one that he used overall is the one he used against Mercephobia that seemed to have his Aetherius. I gotta say seemed to have because it's not confirmed. Let's see. Franmoth is Revolution. Yeah, I mean, that's a little different because it doesn't look like he absorbs the full traits of them. When it doesn't look like everything is. He never used, for instance, Amaterasu 100, and that's the biggest one. That's like the big thickness of base Hades, is the fact that he can spam that. He didn't look as physically strong. Like, he didn't have any feats that had the same level of physical strength as base Hades either. That was another big thing. I've always assumed that Franmoth can gain not the full the full power of them, but just kind of like most of it. I don't know. I don't know if it's ever confirmed either way. I'd have to go back and look. That's definitely something I haven't looked at in a while. Because Franmoth is just... He's one of those characters I never really check back on like on a regular basis. Because his power, you know what it is for the most part. And you don't have to really have a lot of research into what his capabilities are. Because he's dangerous in any world he goes in. Because of the fact that he can just continuously get more powerful the further he goes in. Just keeps getting more busted abilities, getting more to work with, and more to just become more of a threat, like in the large scope. And he's like evil Mega Man. Yeah, I don't know what's all these people saying Juvia's dumb. Juvia's not dumb. I mean, she's not like the smartest. She's not like a genius, but she's not dumb. You know, like Build King. I mean, first off, the thing though is Tonkachi's abilities aren't even generic. Like, it's just the base super strength, but he's got his sick hammer. What other main characters right now is their primary thing is from a weapon? And there's no added powers. It's more of the application of how his weapon works. I'm really hoping it does well. I like Build King, but we'll see. I'm really hoping it doesn't get axed, because it is fun. And I do like it. Can August copy his dad's Angstrom curse? No. It's a curse. He copies magic. Wall versus two captains, Black Clover choice. Raxer. Wall is going to win. Wall is not only way more powerful than them, but he can nuke them from hundreds of miles away. And he can spawn robots that counter whatever their weakness is. So, he's a bad cough. He's a very dangerous opponent for them. Anyway. No, Mardgear, like, Memento Mori is his own thing. Let me go look. It's been a bit. I'll have to go through it. Because the thing is, if he had it beforehand, he wouldn't use it against Xerath. Because we know that Xerath had, like, all of their base abilities or should have been used on him at least once and failed. Let me see. Where is it? Yeah, he says it was woven to murder Xerath himself, so it says it's invented. And if it hadn't worked on Xerath yet, he's saying, like, he said, all this remains as a regular argument. Where's the one that he's saying, I've completed it, meaning that he finished it off. He says, I've completed it, the ultimate curse, and was saying it was made to do this against Xerath, means he made it.
And it means that when he's saying it, now it's completed, which means that he hasn't used it against Zareth yet, which means it wasn't used in the initial time he knew Zareth. Because Zareth had to have had all of the curses use their base curse on him at one point or another. Because we already know he attempted it, and they all failed. So it would have to be something new. I don't want to do a face reveal, Gene, and you don't have to do a face reveal either. Plus you're a young lad. Definitely don't want that being said around in any way. A deal with me. Let's see, Frameworth's still alive. I don't think he's still alive, because when Zareth died, all the people connected to him died because of living magic. The reason that Natsu is likely still alive is the link went to Lucy, I believe, based off of obviously when we saw the stuff going into her body in Alvarez, but also when Natsu stopped against his fight against Mercephobia, it was because Lucy was in pain and reacting to it emotionally. So I think that it is just linked to Natsu. So any of the other demons, unless they found out a way to cheat death, then I think they're dead. I mean, if they found out a way to kind of cheat their way out of living magic, then sure. But otherwise, I don't really think so. Let's see. I have a feeling the Dragon Eaters are going to take out Selena's arc. That could be the case. Selena's end is a really weird one. It's upsetting to think about if she's gonna die, but I'm curious to know how Mishima is gonna go out of his way to do it. And with that, what is the reason? How are they going to get there? I feel like it's going to be under Mount Zonia, and I need to make a video on it because it would make sense of why Gildarts would want to go to the one the Dragon God first that was would take the form of a big busty chick, and if he met Acronologia at Mount Zonia, well, maybe there was some portal there that was going to get him to Elantir to go fight her. That would make sense of why he would go there in the first place during the 100 Years quest. Definitely very curious of what Mishima's plans are, because the Dragoneers have to get there somehow. I feel like there's going to be a shown portal or something at Mount Zonia. Volume 46 Estria's Frame Must cut his rules from copy stats and abilities. Yeah, but he also says on them that those cards aren't legit. He says that I'll go look for it. He says that they're not exactly legit. So they are just playing card versions. That's what, the 380s? Where's the chapters? I'll just listen to music while I figure out where I was. Let's see. It's somewhere around here, I believe. Yeah, so I think chapter... I just found 46. Chapter 394. Yeah, I remember specifically saying something about the cards. Let's see. Yeah, it says, this is just a way to introduce characters as they were. A trading card, there aren't their actual rules in reality. So, yeah. Would target magic be OP if you can lock them there? That'd be really cool. If you had target magic, though, then you would have to have something about it that makes it really good. Some form of hacks clad on top of it. Maybe, if it's, target magic and then you had a tool that would shoot different, if you shot, poison or something. Or maybe, just magic arrows that had some hacks of why they would, maybe void durability or something. Let me see. I'm scrolling up. I accidentally switched pages and lost my place. Let's see. Here we go. Who's better, Hermit or Wendy? I like Wendy better. I mean, we have Wendy's... Well, not full story. We have way more of her story. But I really like that Wendy went from a character who could barely do any form of combat and how powerful she is now, but still growing. But she still is able to do what she, excels at in being a support wizard. I think Diablos is going after the Fairy Tale members of Earthland. Why? I don't know if they would do that. I don't think they would do that. They're busy right now. They're doing stuff with the Dragon Gods. They would have to go out of their way across a continent to Like, hold Emerald Continent, go to Fiore, go to Magnolia, and then go to attack, like, what, they're going to attack the guild? Well, like, most of the guild is going to be in Giltina, and even if you go do that, what, you're going to start a war with somebody else's guilds when you're trying to get this Dragon God meat? Well, hang on one second. Okay, let's see. Most people think that we're going to get the stage because the stage and Elentier Dragoners will not get there in the, I don't know what in the WAD is. But they're going to, I mean, they're going to get there. They have to. It'd be really weird if they're like, hey, we're going to set you up for this, you know, going to this arc. And then it's like, well, we have no idea how to get them there. But really weird. They have to have some, like, idea of how to get there if they were even going to do this mission in the first place. Bro, word magic has such potential. I mean, that's just one of those acts that it really depends on what level the person is. He said it was woven, not that Margear was the one who wove. Okay, then who made it? Because it wasn't Xerath. If he had it when Xerath made him, then he would have used it on Xerath. And it'd be like, well, then why is he saying it's complete? And why is he, like, wouldn't he already know that it wouldn't work on Xerath? Stop. That doesn't make any sense. And there's no indication that they at some point were hanging out with Bloodbin and Bloodbin had them all. Bloodbin also didn't use it. Whereas he said specifically, like when he showed Brambles, he showed a bunch of their abilities but didn't use Memento Mori. When Memento Mori is still broken, he's just going to skip over it. But at the same time, Margear said at one point it was completed, and it's clearly it's been indicating that he was going to use it against Xerath. So clearly Xerath never felt the spell, or the curse rather. Kara, like from Naruto, they go way higher than them. Michiro, like, Naruto definitely had more of a like bigger reaction than you fool. Margear, what do you mean he wouldn't have the knowledge of the curses? He would have his own curse. Why would he not know that? Why would he say that, oh, it's complete now, meaning that it wasn't done prior to their fight, and then not know it, like, how it would work against Xerath? Stop. That doesn't make any sense. You're just trying to buff up Bloodman for no reason. No, I meant, like, by target magic. It's just, like, throwing raw magic, though, Gene, is what I want to say. Also, I know all the RTL's attacks, as always, hit the target. I put on Quan. Quan's always getting jumped on by people. Even Anime Balls Deep is saying Black Clover is getting canceled. Yeah, they're just saying words. Watch at the end of episode 170 it says Black Clover will be back in just an an unstated amount of time. Like it's got to be obvious. Let me see. Where's my phone at? I gotta message Faith because I know he wants to do a stream today. And I don't know if he's still doing it or if he's like gonna like change the time or what exactly is going on with him. 1 second. So we're going to do the same as we did last time, and we're going to take everybody from this stream, and we're going to move over to there. I guess this is the Red Dragon cut through dimensions. I mean, there's a possibility, like, this is the question of how they're going to get there, but they should already have a way worked out. So, Teleport Stone, I mean, some form of gateway, like some form of like magic, just old style magic gateway that like maybe is in Mount Zonia that connects different dimensions or something. Last admit, oh, you're just picking on Jean now. Sayla's not dead. Mir took, yeah, but that's because she absorbed her soul. You would have to have her either absorb Franmoth or some way that Franmoth himself is been like extracted. Because that's a whole different story when you get to that point. You've taken her soul out, and it's like she's not really alive or dead. She's a soul. We already know that from when Natsu had his soul pulled out of his body, and he went into beta heaven. We know that it is just a state in between being either. And Balls News, everybody get a channel. Racks up way more subs to him. They'll overuse me to catchphrases. I haven't watched any of their videos, so I have no idea. I don't have any opinions on them. But Senku and Dr. Zeno can figure out the cure for Armstrong's curse. No, definitely not. He doesn't have any knowledge of magic, but also, like, this is a god's curse. He's out there making drones and cell phones. He's not fighting back against god-like abilities. I don't even know who Dr. Zeno is. I don't remember. Do you think there is any alternate version of Fairy Tail members in Ellen tier? I hope not. I really don't want to have to do that again. Not that it was a bad thing the first time, but it's like we don't need to have them introduced and spend time going through all that when that's already something that we've initially had, but also had in Fairy Nail and stuff. But that was done more of as like a beam. But at the same time, we don't need another one. I think we need to see more Zeref's demons. Oh, they're all dead. You'd have to get like a flashback. Rax needs to create trending topics and good thumbnails if he's going to talk big like them. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't really mind though. I don't really care if I've got like some crazy thumbnail. If I think it looks good enough, like it's fine. Like I just want to make it look nice. I don't think it needs to be like some freaking you know, I don't even know what I was gonna say. I was just like some like pristine photoshopped all these different things together. Like I just like to like pretty much either photoshop something in there a little bit and then maybe mess with the colors. That's good enough for me. And I think it looks nice. I don't think this is gonna be something crazy budget. I don't have to have like, you know, some wide-eyed open mouth thumbnail rendered on top of that. I don't need any of that. Maybe if I want to do something crazy like that on occasion, sure, but it's like I don't need that every time. Let's see. I don't know what are people talking about now. I'm not saying anything about Anime Balls Deep. I do not care. Good for them if they get a lot of views. I don't talk to them. I don't watch their videos. So I don't really care. I don't understand this feud against them all of a sudden. Rax, you find your avatar YouTube profile or you make it? Oh, I just made it. Oh, my YouTube one. Sorry, I thought it was Twitter. I had it commissioned. This is an old one. I'm getting a new one commissioned soon because for my Patreon layout. Actually, incorporate giant arrows or red circles. Sometimes I do like an arrow or a circle, but very rarely. Some people do it too much, and it always has to be that eye-catching thing or like some big, you know, weird render of themselves in them. If it works, then it works for them. I don't really like that. I'm not going to tell them they can't, but whatever. Lost will never solo fairies. No, I don't think he will. Like, he just keeps getting crazier and crazier. What magic with Dante? I don't know anything about Virgil, Dante, and Nero. I don't play Devil May Cry. It's completely in regard that that's no. There's no reason to assume that he didn't somehow have it, and he wouldn't have had used it somehow against Mardgear or against Zeref if Mardgear didn't invent it. That completely makes no sense. It doesn't make sense for just to assume somebody else created it but didn't use it on Zeref for reasons. Clearly, Mardgear invented it. Stop. Like, you're just ignoring what had happened for some reason to give Memento Mori to Bloodman. Like, what is he doesn't need Memento Mori. That's Mardgear's thing. Actually, working on a new Rax avatar. Mart is decent. Problem is that I don't have a drawing tablet, just a computer. Well, appreciate it. Whenever you post it, I'll definitely like it. I mean, if it's mean, I'll give it a sad like, but I'll probably like it still. Asta Soul, stop. No. Sinbad, get that goofiness out of there. These are posts why you'll never get to be mod at this rate. But all the Shinkabi so I'm cursed. But that's because Alderaan isn't using magic the same. Like, we know that dragons have their own innate ability, but also they can use magic. And on top of that, Alderaan is powerful enough to make Zeref, whereas Zeref is like being... It's like a strange alternate version of them that isn't the same as like a... just like clone of them, like just a better version of Nine Hearts Historia. It would have to become way more into like a strange singular broken ability, because otherwise you could say like, oh well, what if Lucy had as much magic as Zeref, which she could have Gemini turn into Zeref and then have the curse. I don't think it'd be the same thing. It's kind of like I like how you can have like Historia can only make one versus like Wolfins can make multiple, but they're also drawing power from Alderaan. You was also, yeah, it's never, I don't think it's gonna happen. There's always the possibility anything can happen, but at the same time, like, I don't think Asta could really do anything to Fairy Tail, like, in the large scope. When you get into, like, people like Celine, and, like, even, like, right now, like, she's so broken, and, like, she's scaled so high, too. And then when you look at, like, Space Return of Tamak and Loki and stuff, well, probably people are thinking he is for now. Yeah, I don't think we've had an official poll yet. Maybe we'll get some soon. 4th generation dragon, so we definitely need more information on them. Because I think it has to do with more inanimate objects outside the body, kind of like the non-implanted. If you were to do something with the Dragon Slayer Lacrima, Black Clover verse will never snitch against Mashamir. Oh, that's true. Mashamir like can make universes like easily. Best worst of Dragon Slayers. Anything like that, I would have to spend more time on like a separate video, just because then we'd have to go over like why each of them are like the way they are in my ranking. Could Irene separate Zeraph's curse room? No, otherwise she would do it. Edos is the worst Big Fairy's arc. Hope we don't get anything else like that. Edelus was actually made better with the whole Selena reveal, because it made sense of why they targeted them. It made sense of why they were so desperate and they couldn't go for something bigger. You know, I mean, like Foresta, like her essentially pushing that whole arc, and her pushing the like status of how Edelus was very interesting for Celine, and I think it gave it a little bit better. Best gen is Gen 1. I agree probably on that. I don't know about that, Sinbad. You're kind of being the bum here. Edelus wasn't that bad. Edelus wasn't that bad. The problem with Edelus is that Edelus, like, they didn't really gain anything out of it. Like, there should have been something, like, they have to learn, like, a new way to use their magic, or they gain some extra skill. Like, Edelus just doesn't have anything that gives it, like, an increase to, like, what they had before. It's just kind of like they go in, they do their events, and they come out relatively the same. But they come back with a couple characters. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that aspect of Edelus. Like, I don't hate it, but at the same time, it's definitely one of the lesser arcs.
And let me see. Looks like Faith is starting soon, so I'm just gonna ask him like what Discord.
Then we'll go there and go harass him doing stuff. Subrax YouTube is garbage. I didn't get your notification. Yeah, YouTube is always causing problems. What's up, though? How's it going there, JK Network? What do you think will go down in the next arc for Eden Zero? I'm hoping we find out more about Nero and his empire. I want to just see, like, what is his reach done? Like, how does he rule? Like, how does he have... Like, how is this grasp over thing going on kind of set? I mean, I think Faith just started his stream, so we'll go over there in a minute. Let me catch up to some of the comments. We'll take everybody over there, and if you have any more questions you want to ask, just ask me in the chat, and I will add that into. I'll just kind of add into the chat because I don't want to interrupt whatever he's doing. But let me get caught up with this chat. Let's see. How many chapters is Fairy Tail Finder season? Like the last season, counting, because it does count, should count Avatar, which is around 4:18, and then it ends at 5:45. So that's like what, like 127 chapters, something like that. Like, it's pretty long. Can Seraph Death Magic work on Ziggy? Yes, it should. Because it destroys things in the process. And the robots them are alive to a degree, and I would assume it would work on Wall's race, so I don't know why it wouldn't work on Ziggy's race. Let's see, Asta can't even beat Gray. Yeah, I know. Zeref didn't create Memento Mori. Otherwise, Zeref would already, like, Margie would already know it wouldn't work on Stop. That's not an argument right there. It makes no sense. He even says it was completed. There's no reason to say that for no reason Zeref had it just to give it to Zeref. Stop. Let's see. I'm just scrolling down past some of the silly comments. I'm gonna get caught up because okay, we're gonna drop over to Face Stream. I'm gonna post a link in here. We're gonna go over there, and I think we're gonna talk about main character powers. So we gotta rep Natsu, and you know, I mean, like, even if Natsu himself isn't your favorite, the fact his magic is, he's got fire dragon slaying magic. He's got dragon wizardry. That by itself is very cool. Like, even if you don't like want to talk about like the character specifically, and I do really like the character, but I know he's not everyone's favorite main character. But dragon wizardry, come on. Anyway, I'm gonna pop over there, so you know, come over there if you want to keep this train going and keep this conversation on a run. But I am going to end this stream, and we're gonna start doing stuff over there. So thanks everyone for showing up to this stream. Next week should be a little longer. I need to talk to Faith, and just so like our streams can be both at a set time, because originally he was streaming at 1, but then he's like for 1 for me, and then he switched it to 3 because I would usually do it after his stream so I could, you know, go later in the evening if I wanted to. But I don't want to conflict streams, and I already told him I'd go over to that, so I'm gonna pop over there, go to that stream if you want to continue this, and you have any more questions for me, as well as obviously like help his channel and stuff. But yeah, other than that though, thanks everyone for showing up, thanks everyone for liking the stream, thanks Anime Fan for the donation, and look forward to me giving some more details on the Patreon for anybody who is interested in backing me, helping the channel a little bit. Don't worry, none of them are going to be expensive. It's going to be like $1 tier, $5 tier, and a $3 tier. Like, it's just going to be super easy, nothing kind of crazy. But anyway, other than that though, thanks for showing up.